woke up last morning, the world turned upside down.
Let's talk about Valentina La Paz.
You know, it can be risky trusting him to have a sense of humor.
The first time we meet Valentina, she's wearing an animal print coat. Speaking of mergers and acquisitions, Tony makes one himself this episode, in the form of Valentina.
One thing, I already took his horse.
Remember Valentina?
Yeah, nice to see you again.
15 years at Chicken Mario. Can't you try the veal?
I think I'm gonna have the medallions of veal. Here.
Another Pie Oh My Valentina parallel, the little horseshoe. She lost an acrylic nail when she was with Tony, and you know where the nail's found? In Tony's laundry, by Carmela.
Your enemy comes into possession of your nail or your hair clippings, they can make the evil on you. I'm not gonna say I love you. I always say that too soon to guys, and I'm trying to work on that, but...
So it's probably a good idea that Tony crossed out love on the card and just put sincerely. A big Pie Oh My Valentina parallel visual that I see is in Whoever Did This, when Tony lifts the blanket that's covering Pie Oh My after the fire. And in the test stream, when Valentina accidentally lights herself on fire.
I got it. You're okay. You're okay.
And Tony throws the blanket over her and is leaning over her to make sure that her fire's out.
I got it.
Not to mention when they focus on the smoke detector in the one scene and the blown out light bulb in the other scene, I almost feel like that's some sort of visual parallel as well. Something that I found pretty telling in terms of Valentina's level of compassion or concern for others, particularly when it involves children, is when Tony's telling her about how Justin, Ralph's son, is going to need a lot of physical therapy and that he has a long road ahead of him, and rather than responding to that or mentioning something about Justin, she says,
I think I'm gonna have the medallions of veal.
I mean, not that Tony can really talk in this situation. He did just kill the boy's dad in the prior episode, but anyway.
There's something, seeing that girl you used to date, that, Valentina.
She's gorgeous or what?
And I think it was actually particularly nasty of Tony to tell Ralph he was seeing Valentina while Ralph was literally sobbing in his office because his son was still in the hospital in the ICU.
I like the Golden's brown mustard.
Are you leaving?
I'm more devious than man.
One of my therapists was a woman.
When Valentina says that she had a woman therapist, for a moment, I wonder if it was Dr. Melfi. Not that I'm saying Dr. Melfi is the only female psychiatrist in the whole state of New Jersey, but it just crossed my mind for a second.
All right, look, first though, like I said before, as far as all the medical bills and the prescriptions, that's covered, ad nauseum.
The term ad nauseum refers to something that has been done or repeated so often that it's become annoying or tiresome or even sickening. And in this case, when you think about it, Tony has picked up the tab and picked up the hospital bills and medical bills. It's kind of an ironic malaprop. And if we think about Tony putting his relationships to bed, I'd say that's something he's done ad nauseum.
This is how you leave me? When I'm almost burned to death?
Come on, honey, you could have just as easily been making yourself something to eat.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
No, I'm telling you, if you'll go, I'll kill myself.
Serial killer. I murdered 7 relationships.
So you all set?
To be fair, in Tony's defense, he did say he didn't like that whole shouting between the rooms thing, and perhaps if they weren't shouting between the rooms, Valentina could have been paying more attention to what was right in front of her. The eggs, the fire on the stove, you know.
I think I want to come home.
There are some non-negotiable conditions.
Like what?
You can't have your horse in here.
I already took his horse. Why not?
Are you kidding me?
We'll clean up after her.
You always say that.
I didn't do it.
I found a fingernail! You saw it that day on your night table. I found it and I put it there. I know you saw it.
That...
What? That what?
Nothing.
Well, if we look at Valentina in comparison to Tony's other grimoires, Valentina has some things in common with them, and then, of course, some differences. She reminds me of Irina when she tells Tony that she's going to kill herself when Tony's breaking up with her at the hospital.
I'll take care of it.
What kind of life is there for me without you, Tony?
And she reminds me a little bit of Gloria in the whole trouble with men department.
Now you can tell your shrink you ruined 8 relationships.
What do you mean?
Gloria tells Tony she sees a therapist because serial killer, murdered 7 relationships, problems with men. Then we have Valentina telling Tony that she's not going to say I love you to him too quickly. She's had a problem. She has a habit of doing that with guys, and she knows that it's not a good idea, so she's working on it. So it seems like Valentina might have gone to a therapist for the same reason.
Burning ring of fire.
As opposed to Gloria, who was only in a few episodes, but while she was present, she was a big part of the overall story. With Valentina, although she and Tony meet at the end of season 4, and they're together through the end of season 5, she doesn't play that big of a role in the overall Sopranos story. To me, she's more of a symbol. Carmela never found out about her. Carmela found her fingernail, but that could have just as easily been Irina's fingernail, or the cousin's fingernail, or whoever's fingernail. Valentina was more of a piece of the equation, a piece of the recipe that led to the fallout in Whitecaps. As a whole, I feel like this is a pretty superficial relationship for Tony. Even while he's seeing her, he's trying to get with other women, like Svetlana, for example.
When's Bill coming back?
Next week.
Well, I'll be busy for a few days, but,
Maybe I call you. But I don't think so.
You didn't like it?
I feel like Tony sees Valentina as just another thing to take from Ralph.
Well, maybe you should, go see Pi. Take your mind off.
You look after it. I can't.
No, I understand.
As I believe he's still mad at Ralph for killing Tracy, which is why, of course, he had to make sure that Ralph knew about it.
Maybe if I met a girl like Carmela, my life could have taken a whole different trajectory.
Talk about a burning ring of fire, huh? Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on Valentina. What did you think of her?